You are 70 years old, and I would like you to live for 70 more years on this planet.
But when it's someone you know, it shouldn't be as hard that you can't give them a few minutes every once in a while. You're over near them anyway.
And it made me scared from inside. That much scared that I could not ride a bike until I was 26, 28. I think I was so much scared of the roads because of that little incident.
You have to care.
I recently read a book which was called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Maybe you've also read that.
I haven't read
It
it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, you've heard it's a very famous book. So it explained a very different, the major difference between the men and women. Whenever men get depressed, we go into a silent mode. We do not want to talk anything with anybody else. But if women get into depression when he is annoyed of something, something is disturbing her, she actually wants to talk about it. She needs some talking buddy with her, maybe in the form of a husband, maybe in the form of a sibling, whatever it is. And if she could not find anything, then there is something, your journal. You can write your own journal, whatever it is, spit it on a piece of paper, or just record a video in the modern times. If you are feeling that's something, if you're holding something within yourself, just put it out. So I think this was something which helped you getting relief,
Mm.
right?
Writing the book was therapy, really.
Therapy, right, right.
Yes. It helped me understand myself even better. And then it also was scary because I had forgotten,
Scary.
because it was a few years. Yes, it had been a few years
Okay.
since I had gotten well. Okay. And really normal again, where if you're sad, there's a reason, not that you don't have a reason. And
Mm-hmm.
I I had forgotten. So I'm going like, how can I remember the depth of it? I could touch the
Yeah,
surface.
it's been 50 years, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
some of
right.
it. But
Yeah.
trauma has a funny thing. It puts it right there forever. It really does. It never goes away. You can go back. I can go back and be that 13-year-old, that 7-year old, the 34-year old. Oh, that's like really like yesterday. But the whole point of it was that it kind of helped, but I couldn't feel the depth of it. So what I did, I started writing and I couldn't write. It just wasn't there. So I took and went off my medicine for 2 days. Okay. My medicine was so timed perfect. Wasn't over, wasn't under. It was like
Mm.
days. I start feeling, I go, oh my God, no, 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 no. Where's that medicine? I'm not going there again. And I would get back on my medicine, but I had just enough, like I'd go, oh my God, how I had put that away, dealt with it. And then just that little taste, it would sometimes take a while before I could do that again. So I would write while it was fresh because it would eventually, leave. It didn't make me depressed. It was just a little upsetting, some of it. So
Mm.
then I decided, you write, you leave it alone. You write, you leave it alone. It took a long time. That way I could
Mm.
be rational when I'm writing. I could remember the depth of it. And every once in a while I would go like 2 or 3 days and then I'd be right back on it. I mean, oh,
Mm.
it was like, oh, thank God, they finally found what I needed. Uh, but it made me realize something that it was
Mm.
real. It was real. It wasn't no
Mm.
dream. It wasn't
Mm.
anything. It wasn't like,
Mm.
I just don't want to do anything and I'll just act like this. Trust me,
Mm.
you don't. You want to know. And that's the name of my
Mm.
book. What's wrong? I don't know. You get
I don't
asked 20 million times all the time. Well, what's wrong?
know.
I don't know. That's
I
the
don't know.
illness. I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
And
You don't know what you've been going through. I don't know. Yeah.
it's like they say, well, what's bothering you? But now I could have something like regular depression about something. Oh, I could tell
Mm.
you, go get help, everything. But
Yeah.
I can have both at the same time. You really can. So you get help for that one because you can talk about it. You can go
Mm.
and see a doctor. You can talk to your priest or pastor. You can talk to
Mm.
your family,
Mm.
friends, and you can figure it out yourself, you know.
Yeah.
But Okay, I finish it. I solve the problem. Then I'm back to, well, what's wrong? I don't know. Yeah, and you can't talk about it. How can you talk about it if you don't know? So you're not
Right.
lying
Very right.
when you say that.
Very right. Very right. So I have read your book, Miss Kelleen, and it was very engaging, to tell you the truth. You could have expressed your thoughts like this, so and so things happened with me, but you took a very creative route. Why is it a fiction?
It's fiction only because I don't no name of the book, not one is real name, not even mine.
Yeah,
You noticed when you read the book, it was my mother, my father, my brother.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
never said names if I
yeah,
didn't have to. The people that I
yeah.
helped, they were all made up names, but the what happened is true. Well, you can't have a nonfiction if you don't have names and dates and places and all of that to back it up. So, and that
Hmm,
really, honestly, was not really the book. The book was the
hmm,
subtitle. What is it like to live with mental illness? Turn the page for a glimpse. So I give you glimpses of my life at different ages, different times. I wanted you to feel what I felt. And most people tell me they can put themselves somewhere in my story and really feel what I'm saying. Uh, I don't need to spend pages and pages to tell you something important. You could do that in a page, but you get enough that if you need to, you can insert yourself. That's why it's so
right.
emotional and deep. So you could, if you relate to something. And that's what people told me that they've done when they'll read this part or that part. They go, I know what that feels like, but this is new, but I know what that feels like. Or they've never been sick and they go, whoa, wait a minute. I don't ever hope I feel that. Problem is, it can happen to anyone, any age, doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a child, old. It really doesn't
Without
matter.
any reason. Without
Without
any
a
reason.
reason, because it's a brain thing. It's your brain not working
But
right.
but Miss Killing, I'm being very, I'm not want to be very naive, but there has to be some triggers, huh? There has to be some triggers. Something has to
Yeah,
pop up, and
traumatic
there has to be
usually.
some starting point of this. Maybe
Mhm.
you could not identify it, even if that was at the age of 13, but there has to be some triggering point. Huh?
The trigger
Something
point for me that
should
I
be a
found
trigger.
out later, when I found out what was wrong, was I was 7. It
Okay,
was
what was
7.
that? If you want
Well,
to share,
I
if
don't
that is
really
not that
want
much
to share that
personal.
because it'll give away the whole impact of the book if I give the what it was.
Okay, okay,
Okay, but
okay,
I
okay,
do in
okay.
the book, I do explain it very thoroughly what it really was and why and everything. So you understand, then you go back and you go, okay, I get it. Why this, that. And I do that because everybody's journey is different, but similar. And I didn't know until I was 60 that it started at 7. I always thought it started around 13, 14. So it was already there and it just developed slowly at first until the first from 13 to 34, it was slow development. And then in my 20s, it started picking up speed. And then the 30s, 34, it was like one day it just went like, what happened to my life?
Right, right,
One day,
right, right,
a moment of everything coming up and an explosion. I was like,
right,
what is happening? Don't know. And then I couldn't go to the doctor. They'll give you a sedative. Here, take these, go home, be drugged up, go sleep. No, I wanted to
right,
know. So I made a promise to
right,
myself when I was 34. I said, I will not stop looking until I find out what is wrong with me.
what
I
is
will
wrong?
fight until the last breath. I
Great,
had to
great.
know. And that's what kept me going. I had to know.
And
No,
and you're
if,
still fighting that. Great,
no, not
with great
really.
courage.
I found out.
But you have defeated that. You defeated that. You
Oh,
defeated
yeah,
that.
totally.
Yeah, totally,
Totally.
totally, totally.
When I
But
found out, it's like when you find out what's really causing it, and you know that's what it is because it all makes sense medically and mentally, it is like, why couldn't I just known that? I could have done this and that, but I couldn't get help because it wasn't around. It wasn't even acknowledged as a problem. Mental illness was. Those that were schizo or seriously, really bad for be around people, they were put away in hospitals and forgotten about, drugged up, because nobody really knew. They just thought they were crazy. So that's how I look at it. If you're just throwing people in a hospital and you're drugging them up, what are you doing? You're housing them. You're not helping. And I wasn't that by no means, but there was nowhere to go for people like me that if we could have got help, it could have made a big difference. Like today, there's no reason. It's everywhere. There's still some stigma. It's getting better, but you can get help in so many ways that on my website and in the book, I even have things that I researched to help people that say, I don't have money. Well, you could go to this site and it offers this. You could go to this site and it'll give you comfort and it doesn't cost much or nothing. Okay, there are programs out there. If you really look, there are programs you can do for little or nothing, because it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It hits everyone, anyone. It doesn't matter where you come from. And so I did that research while I was writing and I was building my website to promote. And then I did the research for all the numbers for suicide, for even international. Even though I live in the United States, I wanted the whole world to have a way to find. I take that very serious, because one time I heard an 8-year-old committed suicide. An 8-year-old. And most countries still don't even recognize it as a disorder. It's sad, So I thought, well, if anybody ever lands on my site and they need help, it's there.
Yeah, I've seen that. That the part 3 of your book, you have shared all the contact numbers that if anybody needs any sort of help. And surprisingly, even my country was mentioned in that. If anybody needs any help, they can simply call Miss Kelleen, and she would definitely get you out of that phase of killing yourself, which is extremely very.
A lot of people ask me, how did I not? Because so many years. And I said, well, problem is I'm very stubborn.
But you might have thought about it many times, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote a chapter on it. How I prevented it. I made a plan within a plan within a plan. And after I did that, I never thought about it again, because I already had a plan. It's just the way my brain works.
How is that? Don't leave it in that abstract way. Let's make it very tangible.
Here's what I did.
What is this plan within a plan within a plan? How one should manage this urge of killing oneself? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was going through a divorce. I was going through the middle of life that women go through. I was going through migraines from something. I was depressed, anxiety, everything at once. And I was losing it. I mean, come on, you lose it after everything. So I thought, then I always had like 2 sides to my illness. It'd be one that was bad, then the other one was worse. And it was about 3 weeks each, give or take a little. And I was still in the good of the bad, the 2 bad. So I decided while I was there, make a plan, protect myself, So I sat down and I thought, be real. What would you do? Would you do a knife? Would you do anything like that? No. Nah. Most people, if you're not really bad, will just take sleeping medicine or some kind of drug they'll die. Okay. And I thought, now let's be real here. If you get a bad night, here's how it really is. I didn't put this in the book, but it's really true. When you get a depressed moment and you're already depressed and it's worse, you're not going to take showers. You're not going to take baths. You're lucky to get out of bed. Really, it can get that bad. And so I figured, now, if I went through my apartment and I just got rid of all excessive anything that I don't take or don't need to be taking, I got rid of that. Then I thought, well, that's still not safe. At that time in the 90s or right around that 2000, you could still, if you've been a patient with a doctor for a long time, not new, but which I had, you could call in, and if it met what you were talking about, they would give you a prescription. not a big one, a little one. Well, certain medicines mixed with other medicines can make you do what you want to do. So what I did, I called the doctor's office, two of them that I would talk to. I said, would you please put on my chart, do not give out prescriptions unless I come in person. I said, right on page 1. Well, Miss Dawson, why do you want to do that? We've never had any problems. I said, oh, those medicines are really, really, really strong. They were. Okay. And I want to make sure I take them right because I don't want anything to happen. And I'm really having a bad time. I don't want to take this chance. And they go, well, okay, we'll put it there. If that's what you want. I said, I really want you to make me come in. And they said, okay. Now, so why did I do that? Because you could get in this mood. You learn how to lie. Oh, you get good at lying when you're sick. Okay. And about anything at work, everywhere. So, and I knew I could call them and make up something. I knew what to make up. I was living it. So I said, no, you can't make that easy. Then I thought about it. That's what you would do. Okay. Are you really going to get up at night when you're really bad, get dressed because you look like a mess? You're going to have to take a shower. Everybody's going to look like you're a bum. So you're going to get up, take a shower, get dressed, go get in your car, start it up, drive to a pharmacy, get the prescription that you could overtake, right? And then you're going to drive back home, going to get undressed, put on your pajamas, and go to bed tonight. No. You'll get out of bed and you'll go, forget it. You just won't do it. I'm serious. You just won't do it. If you're that bad, you're lucky to get up to eat sometimes. I mean, really.
Right.